Well, I am doing a presentation on anti-bias curriculum. I looked at these two books, Anti-Bias Education for Young Children and Ourselves, and this is the older version of it. That is also a great book and has great resources in it to create this presentation. So I am going to start by, what is bias? Does anybody know what being biased is? Any ideas? Well, the definition I got is an attitude, belief, or feeling that results in and helps to justify unfair treatment of a person because his or her identity. And so there are a lot of different things that make a person's identity. And so the different biases that you can see in a classroom, does anyone have any ideas of what kind of bias you can see in the classroom?
You can't play with me, you're a boy.
Yep. So that would be gender bias. Anything else?
Economic status.
Yep.
Culture. Like
Yeah.
They look like or come from.
Yeah. And I mean, culture can be any of that too in itself.
I would say more that's ethnicity.
Yeah. So I did racism, disabilities, gender stereotypes, social status, which is like economic status, and difference from the social norm, if they're not the normal child, normal, because, yeah. So these are a couple examples I got of bias in an early childhood center. I don't want to sit next to her. She talks funny, comments a 3-year-old regarding a new teacher who speaks with a strong accent. Because kids are very honest and they're still learning all this, so it's just a big change. It's different, and they ask questions. You can't be a princess and there's a typo. Princesses have blonde hair, announces a white 4-year-old to an African American classmate. And then this is supposed to be a happy painting. Why are you using all black paint? Observes the teacher to a young child at the easel. So I put one to child to a teacher, child to another child, and then a teacher to a child. So this book had the vision of anti-bias curriculum is a world where children are able to blossom and they're able to flourish in everything they do. Alright. There we go. All children and families have a sense of belonging. So in the community, in your center, and just they don't feel like they're left out of your center. Oh my goodness, I did it again. I don't know what I hit. Alright, we'll just leave some. All children have access to education. Children are denied access just because they're different or for any reason. All families have resources they need to nurture their child. The educational process engages all members of the program or school in joyful learning. So it's not just one teacher that's accepting of everyone, but the whole staff. And they know how to respectfully and easily learn together in a diverse and inclusive environment. So these are the rights that the United Nations came up with for the rights of a child. The right to survive, the right to develop to the fullest, the right to protection from harmful influence, abuse, or exploitation, and the right to participate fully in family, culture, and social life. Okay, so I have some questions I'm going to ask So what would a world look like for each children? Imagine a world of justice and equal opportunity. What would a world look like for each child you work with? What do you think it would look like for children in your care or anywhere? How would they feel?
They'd be treated equally, they wouldn't be singled out for behavior or difference.
Yep.
They would have like the necessary tools
They would, yeah, for sure.
and be favorites.
And they would all get along. There wouldn't be any bias between the children. There would be a sense of community at your center. There wouldn't be that child that doesn't listen over there, is by themselves, but everyone would feel part of the larger group. And then they'd also feel safe, not targeted by teachers or other children. They would feel comfortable, which then would help with their development through any kind of development. What would it look like for the children in your program? That's pretty much the same question. But it would be consistent, I think. Your classroom, children would be relaxed in what they do with their play. They would be able to just come in and do their thing without worrying about.
But when I think in the program, I mean, the way I see that, Chris, is the first one is about my classroom, the second one is about the center and the whole program. The staff would be appreciative of each other. There wouldn't be a lot of like gossip and,
Yeah, for sure.
you know.
Because that's definitely something that happens in a lot of centers.
Backstabbing. Yeah.
Yes. Then, can you add anything else that would be in the vision list of anti-bias education? Anything else that, in the perfect world, this would happen? Anyone think of anything?
Everyone would get along
Yes.
They'd just be happy, we'd be more upbeat.
and appreciate,
Yeah.
appreciate difference.
And I put mutual feeling of respect, because if you're showing the child respect, they're going to be respectful to you in that way that you show it, because they learn that through modeling. You'd have great relationships with the families and the children, which is a huge, one of my biggest beliefs working with kids is having a good relationship. And so that's huge, I think. And then you'd help families learn about child development. You have to develop a relationship with families. It goes into the relationship part, and then they'll start in this relationship wanting to talk to you about, and you're just become a resource for them, and that resource helps them with their child. They'll ask for advice or talk about problems that are going on that can help you. Advantages and disadvantages we have for visibility versus invisibility. So visibility is what you see in the early childhood center, and what we have, and then invisibility is what you don't see. So there's a lack of material showing diversity. A lot of books show a mom, a dad, a brother, and a sister. Not any diversity. They're usually, well, they focus on the American culture, which in most cases is thought of as white, middle class, suburban, English speaking, mother and father, and able-bodied. And that is not what families are like for everyone. And that right there can make children feel left out. That doesn't include all children. There's a lot of single-parent families out there. There's families that have two dads. They have one child. They don't speak English. They're low income. And so it's just,
Grandparents raising kids.
yeah, that's a big one. So just making sure you include all the different dynamics of your classroom. And that is getting to know your families and understanding what, it's great in the dark. It's still recording. So that would be that.
Technology. Oh, we love technology.
Oh, yeah, interesting. Sorry, we walked.
Intermission.
Yeah. So it's just important to know your families, know what each child goes home to, what kind of family life they have, so you can support that in their learning through your materials in your center and making it visible in your center and being culturally accepting of all cultures in what they see. So the goals of anti-bias curriculum is each child will demonstrate self-awareness, confidence, pride, and positive identities, which is a pretty good goal to have. And to do that, nurture individual identities and nurture social group identities. So just making sure you encourage their identity and what they do and not shutting it down. No, we're going to do this like this here. But just nurturing that. So they make visible, so like around Father's Day, if a child doesn't have a father, you can talk about that they had a mom at home and they're going to make a mother's or a card for their mom and that kind of thing, while being sensitive to it. Not just doing Father's Day cards, but just doing cards home. Not labeling it that.
Or switch it up and do family cards. Or,
Yeah, like that's
focus on Father's
just
Day,
label
Mother's
something
Day.
else.
Yeah.
Each child will express comfort and joy with human diversity and accurate language for human difference and deep human connections. So they'll understand that all people are different. They know, because I know I tried for hours to find a video of a kid walking through a store and saying something embarrassing about somebody different. I looked for hours on YouTube and nothing. I've typed in like every combination I could think of, but nothing came up. But so just giving them the language and not just being, I've heard stories where parents will say, why is the child will ask them why their skin is dirty? And moms are like, shh, no, don't talk like that. And not shutting it down right there puts a bad connotation on that. So just explaining, we have a little different color skin, but we're all the same. We have 2 eyes, we have 2 ears. And just, go ahead.
So accurate language would be to say, this is a question, Chris, to say, well, no, they're African American, or they're, and that's why their skin's dark, or they're from a different country and they speak Spanish, they don't speak English. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Instead of saying, because what the kid's gonna say is, why did they talk funny? And
Yeah.
then you would just say, well, they're speaking a different language.
Yeah.
So it's just like giving them words for their thoughts, basically.
Yes. So the way to do that is explore similarities and differences, which I was saying, like, see, they still have 2 hands, and just talking about what's the same, but also recognizing the differences that you have. So start with the diversity present in your child's group. That is starting in the classroom or in their everyday life. You can talk about the similarities in your classroom because you want to develop that sense of community with the kids, but also understanding that Johnny wears glasses to help him see, and that's no different. He just needs that to help him. And so starting there, and as they do that, they can expand more into higher thinking in the community, which is how you should do pretty much all of it.
Well, when I first moved here, I really didn't know what to do because the first job I had, all the children looked Anglo. And so I actually called Louise. And I said, Louise, how am I supposed to do anti-bias curriculum in an environment that seems very homogenous? And she said exactly that. Start with the diversity that's present. You can do hair color, eye I mean, we all put our arms together, we'd have an incredible variation in skin tone. So she said, start there and then do what parents do, what family structure is. So it was very helpful to me.
And I was reading a project that you can do that is having the children make fingerprints and looking at how they're different from their friends because everyone's so different.
Oh,
That was
that's
just
great.
another way.
Yeah.
I almost thought about doing that here, but I only have an hour. So
You have an hour and 15.
I know, but we have the
Oh,
evaluation. And I was thinking about reading the book. So children learn prejudice through prejudice. So like I was saying in the store when the mom says, oh no, don't talk like that, that shows that that's negative, and then that starts to develop, oh, they're bad because of this. I watched a lot of videos where children would choose a baby, and I don't think I put that video on here, and there was a white baby and an African-American baby, and there was white and African-American children, and they would pick the white baby, and they'd ask who the nice baby is, and that's who they would pick. And they would say, no, this baby's bad, it's dirty, and it's very sad that both ethnicities pick the same baby. Just because that negative's there from their parents.
Well, just from, don't you think, just from society and
Oh, yeah, for
media
sure.
and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah. We just watched Star Trek Insurrection, and it was about these Star Trek, yeah. Two groups of people that had split off 100 years before, and the one group stayed in this one place that was like the fountain of youth kind of thing. But anyway, the premise of the story was, if you stayed on the island, the other people had like ugly, stretchy skin. But if you stayed here, you evolved into a beautiful white person. And I thought it was such a great example of the subtlety of this kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And I mean, the news and everything, everything. So, continue. Each child will increasingly recognize unfairness, have language to describe unfairness, and understand that unfairness hurts. So, they'll start to realize that everyone is different, and it's not nice to treat someone differently because they are different than them. And so critical thinking is a big skill, talking with the children about the situation, and having them think of solutions for it, and ways to handle the situation, and ways to talk through it. And that will develop their sense of self, which is about them and what they're like, but then also caring relationships for the other children. So, talk about the children's misconceptions. Why do they think this about other children? And so, plan for activities that will help with that. And I have a video that's really awesome that we're going to watch a few minutes of. Netflix. That shows an example of an activity. This is what needs to be here. It's called Anti-Bias Curriculum. And this college is where Marlon went to school. It's a great little chocolate school. So we're just gonna watch 5 minutes of it. And it just has a great example of an activity that's age appropriate that you can do to help children recognize diversity.
How many times have you seen this happen in your classroom? How did you deal with it? And what will you do the next time it happens? As children, one of the most important things we learn in preschool is how to relate to others. The attitudes we develop as early as 2 years of age often influence us all of our lives.
Hi. Hello. Here's the book. Thank you.
What's the matter with that lady, Mommy?
Oh, shh. It's not polite to point. I'm sorry. It's okay. It's okay.
Denial can create a deep-seated fear of the differences we find in others. That's why the first step in the ABC, the anti-bias curriculum, is acknowledgement of those differences.
Most people, especially adults, are very comfortable in dealing with how we're the same. And one of the things I think we do best here, that I do best here at Pacific Oaks, is really talk to children about differences. We have an anti-bias curriculum, and we value difference. And the activities we set out, I think, help them discover the differences in a very natural and relaxed manner. The doll activity is a wonderful activity because we have dolls that are different in color, different in racial background, and we talk about it, different in gender, and they get to know our dolls are anatomically correct, and they can ask questions about that. I even have a doll that has a cast on it. They can see, like one of the dolls today had brown clay, because the children had been playing with clay and they got it on the doll. They could wash that clay and it was brown off. And then I put my hand right next to them and I said, can you wash off my brown color? And they can't. And that's something that's very cognitively important and it's very concrete. Because a lot of times they think they can wash off the color and they can't. You can't wash off that color, can you? No, because that's my color. The mirror exercise activity is basically the same thing. We're looking at each other, and they really have to pay attention and look at detail. And I ask them about their color, and I ask them about their hair color and the texture and the color of their eyes. And we do a lot of comparing. And with me, what I find is that the children know I'm different, and I can just, sometimes they can't verbalize it, but I can see it in their eyes, and I can see it in all of their body language, and I just make them very comfortable because I'm comfortable with who I am, and that they can ask me the questions. As 2-year-olds, they say, these kids can't tell the difference, and I tell them, I can prove to you, watch them, look how they look at different kids, look how they touch other children's hair, look at how they look at other children's skin. At 2 years old, they already know something's different. They might not have, I can't even say the 2-year-olds aren't verbal because my 2-year-olds are so verbal, but they can really ask questions. And it's important that they talk about differences because it exists. Being who I am and how I grew up in this society, I know that for some children it's so hard that it's okay to be who you are. And I think that with 2-year-olds, I give them a real good feeling about who they are and that it's okay to ask questions. I think some of the most beautiful things that happen is when a child is crying and another child that's very, very different will come up and just be very tender and loving. And then they're not scared. And I think that's what we have to teach kids, not to be scared.
Of course, this doesn't happen overnight. Learning about physical differences and similarities continues through early childhood.
It's a very good video. Okay, and then each child will demonstrate empowerment and the skill to act with others and alone against prejudice. So, So teaching the kids how to act when something does happen and working together. And a really good book that is about this is Swimming by Leo Liami. I'm just going to talk about it. I'm not going to read the whole thing. So it's about a school of all these redfish and one blackfish named Swimmy. One day a tuna fish. This is one of the best. This is my favorite book every year
Me too.
with my kids. So a big tuna fish comes and he chases all the school of redfish and eats them all, while the black Swimmy swims down away from him. So then Swimmy's all alone. All his friends are gone. So he decides to travel through the ocean and explore, and he meets a jellyfish and a lobster. Some strange fish being pulled by an invisible thread. And the art in this book is just amazing. I love it. And then he swims through all the seaweed. And he meets an eel. Keeps going. And sea anemones.
That looks like ping pong trees swinging in the wind.
So then he gets here and finds another school of redfish, and they're hiding because they're scared of the bigger fish in the sea. And he is trying to convince them to come out, and they don't want to come out because they don't want to be eaten. So he comes up with a plan. They can swim close together and look like a bigger fish, and he will be the eye. And so they work together to stop the problem, which is what this book is talking about, which is this goal, that children will work together to stop that. And it's against bullying too, and they scare the tuna fish away. Yeah, that's it. It's a great book if you haven't read it.
Didn't somebody check it out at the library?
I did.
See, you didn't know what a great book you had.
I did like it.
Yeah.
I liked the team.
Okay. So practice that with children, talking with them about it, asking what they can do, and helping, just talking them through it. That comes in with the critical thinking portion. And talk with children about their feelings in specific situations, how that felt that the boy said she couldn't play, and then just growing off of that into a solution for the problem. I'm going to read just this little bit out of this book. It's a teacher is sitting at a circle talking with the children, discussing how they could. I'll just read it. How do you? Okay. At circle time, the teacher explains that a group of the doll boys were playing fort with the outdoor climbing equipment. Jamie, a girl persona doll, wants to join in, but the boys declared, "Only boys can play in this fort. You don't know how to play." So the teacher says, "How do you think Jamie felt? Has this ever happened to you? Can girls play this game too? What could Jamie do?" And the children said, She could tell him he hurt her feelings. I would climb into the fort anyway. I'd find someone else." And then the teacher said, "You have many good ideas. Jamie has many choices of what she can do. It all depends on how she feels. She could try to work it out, or tell the boys to let her in, or she could go find someone else to play with. What could she say if she wanted to try and work it out with them? Girls can too. How would he like it?" And then the teacher says, "Those are all great ideas. What if she wanted some help? Where could she find some help?" And the children say, "Her friends. She could go get them. Maybe the teacher. Or she could make her own fort." The teacher said, "Well, if she's feeling bad, what could you do or say to help her feel better?" And children say, "I'd give her a hug. Don't listen to him. He's wrong. I'll play with you. I like you." And the teacher said, "We could also make a sign that reminds everyone that everyone can play where he or she wants. What should we write? And then the children say, girls can play where they want to, so can boys. Don't hurt kids' feelings. Friends can help you. Which is a great scenario, and I love how the teacher talked with the children about it and had them do the problem solving. And this is like a class meeting, which is in another class, early childhood class I took. That, and just having the kids involved in your classroom, because it's all of their classroom as well, and that helps develop that sense of community. Okay. So these goals are for everyone, and everyone benefits. It's not bad for anyone, it's only good. Pays attention to children's lives, their real lives outside of your center. It's developmentally appropriate, which is important. It uses child and teacher initiated activities, which means it shouldn't just be the teacher doing activities just for that result, but bringing it up in everyday encounters. It doesn't happen in one day. It's a process. And it involves the teacher becoming comfortable with themselves and their culture, their biases that they have, and accepting them, and then modeling that to the children. And the tourist approach, does anyone know what that is? So when you're learning about different cultures, you bring out one book that shows in Africa, and it just has the same pictures of little children in Africa, so it develops that picture, but you don't go any more in depth. It's just, that's how children in Africa look. When in South Africa, they dress just like us. So you could bring in books that have children from Africa that are dressed like the children here, or doing the same activities, not just like the third world country Africa, but relating it to the children here.
And the tourist approach the phrase came into being by, like, it was real typical, probably still is in elementary school, where you'd have Japan week, and Korea week, and China week, and Germany week, and, like you go visit the country, but that's not what this is about at all.
And then strong relationships part again, not only with the families, but also with staff and coworkers. Young children are curious about everything, so they're always asking questions, so just answering them and doing your best, showing them the process of figuring out the answer, not just telling them the answer. By age 3, children ask questions about their own and others. By age 4, they show awareness of family structure and economic class difference. So they could identify that they have brand new clothes or coats and that one's old and dirty. And between 3 and 5 years, children are curious about what parts of themselves are permanent and stay the same. So that's why dress up's great. And little boys dress up as girls, and when they're putting on that dress, they're putting it on to realize that they didn't turn into a girl when they put it on. It's a part of development. They're not going to turn out gay or a cross-dresser just because they put on a dress or want to wear it. I have lots of boys in my class that like to wear dresses and dress up, and they have a great time. So they construct a personal sense of self about themselves and their identity and other social identities, how they're the same as some children and how they differ. they learn through um, both overt and covert messages. So through talking about it, but also through through just how people act or talk about it. I can't think of the word.
Not even talk, just act.
Young children are learning who is and isn't important. So children really have a sense of how children are treated in the classroom. If a teacher has a bias on one child, the children pick it up and they know this child's not special, but this is their favorite kid, so they get whatever they want. And then it just creates that difference. And, children try to make sense of all they see and hear. So pre-prejudice is the absorb negative attitudes and stereotypes. So boys play rough. I watched another great video about how boys play rough and the girls are just quiet and sit there, and that's was the kids describing how boys are or girls are, and just shows that difference. So they could think, oh, I can't play like that because I'm a girl. Or children begin to understand who belongs in their country. I don't know why I'm having talking. And then power dynamic between social identities. So just who is treated superiorly.
Who's not?
Okay, here's some more questions. What is the earliest memory of realizing that some people were different from you and your family? Does anyone have a memory of when they were a child? Well, let's see. So I have a memory. So my grandpa is I wouldn't say racist. He uses terms that aren't racially correct sometimes.
That's being racist.
Okay. So so we were watching boxing one time, and he commented on how the African American guy was going to win. And I remember realizing like, oh, there's like, and I was very young. So then I went to my uncle on the other side of the family, and he was watching Ultimate Fighting. And I used the same racist term that my grandpa used to say, I bet you this guy's gonna win. And my uncle's like, what? What did you just say? But I had no idea. I was young and just realized that there's a difference, and that was the term that I was taught at that age.
The N-word?
That I heard at that age. And my uncle was like outraged over the situation. But I didn't know that's what was modeled to me. And
That's how it all begins.
it is. And now I'm talking about anti-bias curriculum.
Yeah.
When you were a child, how would you have described the ordinary person?
White,
Yeah, for sure.
middle class.
Always had nice clothes on.
Yeah. You had a mom and a dad.
And dress nicely, like Natalie just said.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Always had nice clothes on.
I don't know if I would have thought of those things. I would have thought of like disabilities probably. Like people that had disabilities, I would have thought were like a little different.
And conversely, people that weren't disabled would be ordinary, right?
Right. So like no matter what color they were or anything like that, they seemed normal if they,
Oh,
had their body work do stuff. I don't know.
And then, what stereotypes or negative messages did you learn from home? Anyone have?
If you didn't work, you weren't worth anything.
learned a lot of stereotypic messages around gender.
Definitely. For different jobs. Maybe.
Well, it's just that I didn't fit the gender stereotype that my
Yeah,
parents
no.
had lived what girls were supposed to be like.
Yeah.
I remember vividly in second grade, I was in a little pageant, and my dad went to watch. I don't know why my mom didn't go, but my dad went, and all he said was, "You were the only kid there that was dirty." Because I like to play in the dirt, and I was a girl, and I wasn't supposed to do that. And I remember that.
Well, I see my dad still with my nephews. They'll go to like a garage sale and they'll go over to the toys and they'll be like painted girl toys over there. And he's like, "Hey, get away from that. Go look at those trucks." Like, so that's
They can't
definitely.
even look at them.
Yeah. So that's definitely was what I had part of the time. But then I also grew up with my mom and grandma, so I guess it was very accepting of everything. And didn't really get anything from them. And what changed your mind about these ideas? Does anyone have any? What could have changed your mind?
I do.
That's good.
When I was an adolescent, my dad was a college professor, and they needed to hire a physician, and the most qualified candidate was an African American man. And my dad advocated for this guy because they weren't going to hire him because he was African American. And my dad advocated, and at that time it was technically illegal to discriminate, and got him hired. So that was my first experience. But the biggie for me was going to Pacific Oaks College, which is totally an anti-bias education, and meeting Louise and meeting all these people, and being strongly influenced by them.
See, and I just think life experiencing different cultures or different things through just not practice, but just everyday life and experiencing differences. All right, let's watch this video. This video I just wanted to show is about it's a Cheerios commercial that came out a while ago. I don't know when exactly. That had a multiracial family, and people were outraged about it because it had an African American dad and a white mom.
Do any of you remember seeing it?
Yeah.
So this is the children's reaction to it. They watch it, and you just hear what children think about it without being told how bad it is.
It's more than a coat. It's the warmth.
Mom,
Yes, honey?
last mentioned that Cheerios is good for your heart. Is that true?
Says here that Cheerios has whole grain oats that can help remove some cholesterol, and that's our healthy.
And these kids are all
Oh, I need a commercial now.
Oh! Who would cereal their dad's heart? Yummy and delicious for children to put on their fathers.
That's it? It's just a Cheerios commercial.
So what happened in that commercial?
It was a Cheerios commercial.
This little girl apparently thinks that her dad is super unhealthy.
So the girl asked if it was actually healthy for your heart, but I think he was thinking of literally went over to his dad. He was thinking, put it on his heart. I thought it was pretty funny.
And what did you think of the family?
That seemed fun, funny, nice. I thought they were actually a pretty good family.
They seem like a normal family.
A lot of people have gotten very angry about this commercial.
Why?
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 Why is that exactly? How do they get angry over what?
Any idea why?
No.
Honestly, no.
Well, people specifically are angry because of the parents. Do you have any idea why that could be?
No.
Is there anything different about the parents?
No.
it is they're angry because they're mixed race parents. They're angry because they're mixed race parents. Do you know what that means?
Yep. One's white and one's black.
That's exactly why people have gotten upset.
Why?
I don't think that is fair.
What was this video made? The 1950s? Nobody. Oh my god, that's so stupid.
But some people just fall in love like that. Very important people like made laws and stuff, and George Washington and like all kinds of different people. You know what I'm saying? Now it's different now, so people can do that. I don't know why people get mad at that.
Is it okay for people to be mad about a mixed family?
No, because there's nothing wrong with it.
No, it's not okay. It's just the color of their skin. What matters is their diversity.
That's just messed up. There's a bunch of mixed race families. If people really love each other, then they should get married. What is this country for? It's something such as equality. Okay, so why do you do that? I mean, like, just because you see a gay couple or something, it doesn't mean you have to say, "Ew, you're so disgusting." You're on gender. It's their parents, so it really doesn't matter.
Why do you think people would be upset about that?
I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it.
My brain doesn't wrap around the idea of, because they think that their own race is better, even though it's the same.
They're racist. Like, it's how the way they are. They're probably raised that way.
Because people are just racist. I thought Martin Luther King, spoke against this and fixed this already.
It's still not over from like the past.
People shouldn't judge each other on the color of their skin or the religion or anything that's different. You should only judge a person based on their character and their personality.
Would you ever think not to marry someone just because the color of their skin?
I think that that's offensive. It really does depend on their heart and if they really love me. As long as it's a person, it's a person. It's not like marrying like a dog.
Yeah. Organs and a heart. Where I live, like, it's no big deal. People with different, like, races and religions, they all just hang out with each other. But, like, in other parts of our country, it's more, like, stuck in the old days and prejudice. And it's messed up.
Have you ever experienced discrimination or racism in your life?
No. Not yet. I'm hoping that I never will. It's just terrible to do that.
It's kind of annoying when people say, "Hey, you're Asian, that's not fair. Of course you could ace that test."
I have some friends that be racist just to be funny. So just because they do that, I do it back. I don't find it funny. They think it's funny because I'm the minority. They say it, I say it back, and then we go on to another conversation.
I know that there's still, like, some racism in other parts of the world. I didn't think that it would still, be here.
The comments on YouTube of this commercial got so bad, they were turned off completely, and you can't even read any comments. What do you think about that?
That's just sad.
That's good then. I mean, they're protecting the people in the video.
It's like the mob mentality kind of thing. They see the comments, they do it. It's like monkey see, monkey do.
Nobody likes me being a stinking bully. Nobody likes that because they realize that they don't want us hanging out with them because they're so mean and rude and nasty. You don't need to leave bad comments when you have this big pile of some mean things. I mean, it hurts your feelings.
Think about those people who are, like, of mixed races and stuff. They probably feel horrible because of this. And it's just messed up. Why would you waste your time on doing that? You can just, like, watch another awesome YouTube video. That's what I think. I waste my life on YouTube.
So you're wasting your time going on the internet, going to the comments, and typing some racial slur for a Cheerios commercial. That's dumb to me.
This was very criticized.
Was it?
Yes. There was so much backlash to this, to the kids talking. So they were actors, they were children of they just made all these excuses to delegitimize that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I just thought it was very cool to just see those reactions. And so I think those are the reactions you get from kids, unless they're taught that prejudice. So then I'll show you. I brought a few things. So I brought another Leone book. It's called Frederick. It's about a mouse. They live in this rock wall, and all of his family is gathering food for the winter so they can survive through the winter. And they're gathering different kinds of food, corn, wheat, and he's just laying in the sun sleeping. Right. And this is a fun book to read with kids. And then as it starts to snow, he wakes up and goes in. And he's still kind of sleeping, and all the mice are awake, and they slowly start running out of food. And then they ask Frederick to tell them stories about the summer, and he paints a picture for them to keep them busy and warm and for the whole winter when they run out of food. And then they come out of there. But it just shows that they respected he was different. He wasn't gathering food like everyone else. He was helping them in another way. And it just shows that they respected him and let him do that. And then he helped at the end. So it's another great book. I brought in the Montana Early Learning Standards just to show under the social, emotional, and social area. They have culture, family, and community. You guys use these in your classes? Yeah, of course. I knew that actually. So standard 1.1 is culture. Children develop an awareness of and appreciation for similarities, differences between themselves and others. And actually, before we keep going, I made these books in my old class. Our happy book, our excited book, because we're talking about feelings, our mad book, and our sad book. And I'll just show you one of these. So I went through and I asked each of the children what makes them happy, mad, sad, excited. And I wrote it down and I took a picture of their happy face or their face that matched it. And there were some pretty good answers. But then we talked about these books and how everybody is showing their happy face in these books, but they are all different. But they still are feeling happy, and everyone has these feelings, but they might express them in a different way. And so there's there's some very cute answers in here. I'll pass these around so you guys can just browse through them if you want. I won't go through them all. And then the second 1.2 is family. Children develop an awareness of function, contribution, and diverse characteristics of families, so recognizing their peers' families. And then 1.3 is community. Children develop an understanding of the basic principles of how communities function, including work roles and conflicts. So maybe they have both parents that work, and one family only has a dad that works. And there were some sad answers in there. Like, I'm happy when my mom doesn't speak anymore. Or when I don't get grounded. Because these kids in this class are 4 through 6. This was my class in Trinity. Does anyone have any questions?
Those are a good example of starting the conversation about diversity with your kids, these books, and with things that they're all familiar with.
I want to see this other video. I don't remember how long it is.
Baby, there you go.
It's only 2 minutes.
Sometimes the evening that they're short, or sometimes just a girl.
It's about bullying, but it shows a good example of a teacher working with kids.
You shouldn't be in this weird crowd. You're wearing a girl shirt. And I was like, okay, I'll change my shirt.
If a student isn't feeling safe and comfortable, they aren't focusing on what I'm teaching them. We know bullying happens in our school. What can we do about this? What makes you feel safe at school? Tomorrow? Teachers. A new kid calls your friend gay.
I would get help from an adult because adults know more about this kind of situation. I would just ignore it because I really wouldn't know how to handle it. I would have said, my aunt's gay and you can't change it.
Blue was a quiet color. Red liked to pick on blue.
It makes fun of the way you are and everything, and you can't help what you are.
Has anybody ever heard anybody get called a name because of their skin color?
They called him chocolate balls. When we have discussion like that in class, I feel like more comfortable. Well, when I was in first grade, this big girl kept on flipping me in the head
So that hurt.
in 2 ways.
What are the 2 ways?
One physically, one mentally.
If all of these people stood straight up like an arrow and said no,
No.
do you think it would help?
To me, it's a no-brainer. You have to make sure that our students are comfortable talking about difference so that they can ease into their learning and feel confident in their growth.
2 or 3 kids came up to me right after the lesson and they wanted to tell me about things that were said to them that hurt. It meant that that was a success. I'm sorry.
I have a feedback evaluation you guys can fill out. It's just got 4 simple questions. Maybe simple.
Make sure we can see you as well.
Yes, I will. You want all 3? Yeah, I'll go and get your feedback. Yeah, thank you.